Sing ciao, everybody. Welcome back. You're watching Vietnam Steve, and I've got a good one for you today. I've been doing a bit of planning for a tour of Vietnam. So you could say Vietnam Steve on tour. And I'm planning to go from here in Ha Long Bay in the north uh, into Hanoi, of course, um, down to Da Nang and onto Ho Chi Minh City. So that's quite a large area to cover, and of course the sights and sounds of Vietnam, when you cover that much of Vietnam, have to be well mapped out, so you can make sure that you're doing something really special every day. And that's what's been taking a lot of my brain power for the last couple of days. Now, the reason I'm showing you this little place here is I did take a photo of this cafe about a month ago. It was really done up in a old-looking style, sort of 1950s Vietnam, sort of like that left-hand window over there. And looks like the whole thing's blown away in the typhoon. And so I'm going to go back, if I can find that photo. I'll slot it in here. But yeah, those people there lost their whole cafe. This one looks like a great place to try out a coffee. Note the bong in the corner there as you walk in. You could have a smoke as well. I'll be back here later today. Yeah, today's a lovely day. Out doing the 5 at 5 and showing you the sights and sounds of Hong Gai, which is the old town of Ha Long Bay here in Quang Ni province, Vietnam. It's still early, so I just meet a few aunties when I'm out walking the streets, and of course I aim to land at a coffee shop partway through my stroll. This blue building here is primary school, and different to the schools that we're sort of used to. They don't have large playing fields and those kind of things. They're usually just a multi-story building that the kids come to learn. There's something unique about Vietnam. All right. Now, touring Vietnam, first things first, probably run through very quickly just what I hope to see in each of the locations that I'm at, and what you can look forward to me bringing you on the channel. Probably in November, I would suggest. So first up, obviously going to do some of the touristy things here around Ha Long, and that would include perhaps having a day cruise out on the bay. I'm not interested in the overnight scenarios. I used to have a boat, and I'm a boat aficionado, and I don't need to go on somebody else's boat. But I may go out in the day, do some kayaking or have a look around and just see what it is that brings the tourists here to Ha Long. So look out for Vietnam Steve on the water. I'm definitely going to go up to the China border, Mong Kai, and try and get you some happy snaps up around there, because that is an interesting place. It's one of the most wealthy cities in Vietnam, and it's where all the goodies come across that we actually love to buy. Xin chào. So look forward to getting some shots up on the China border. Thirdly, and you might not get shots of these, I'm planning to go to an onsen spa. Now these are Japanese spas that are worldwide, but they have a hot springs spa that is just fantastic. The water's at about 45 degrees, and of course separate to the hot springs, they have cold plunges. You put the old kimono Japanese robe on and you spend the day just fully relaxed. And of course, to make things even better, it's topped off with a massive Japanese buffet at the end. The third thing I want to do in just before the end of the year is get around to some of the different cafes here, and I've been toying with doing a VART for you about the top 10 coffee shops in Ha Long, but I never sort of get any consistency going in what I do. So I thought maybe in November I could just film 1 minute at each coffee shop I go to, and after 30 days you'll have 30 minutes of coffee shops, because that is the life of Vietnam Steve. So get out on the bay, get up to Mong Kai, go to the onsen spa, really start putting some sense around the coffee shops and cafes in Ha Long, and then also don't forget to keep you refreshed of all the daily activities I do here around Ha Long. So that pretty much sums up Ha Long in the coming month. And then what I want to do is go with a couple of friends and a few kids and head off to Hanoi for a couple of nights, because there are some great things to see in Hanoi, and I can bring them to you. So I'll just get round this next corner and I'll tell you what it is I'm hoping to bring you from Hanoi. So getting up to Hanoi with that many people, and I'll probably have 8 to 10 people, will involve hiring what we call here a limousine. Now a limousine is a 14-seater bus or thereabouts. And so I'll hire a limousine. I reckon for 8 or 10 people that's going to cost me a couple of million dong. And rent an apartment in Hanoi. They're always fun, those sort of holidays with friends in a shared apartment, because it's just a good chance to eat good food and get on the beers. But of course, when I get to Hanoi, there's 5 real key things that you should see in Hanoi, and that I'm going to try and bring to you. Hanoi, first things first. Probably going to head up there on a Saturday morning, and we should be in Hanoi by about 10:30. So what we'll do there is we'll go straight and have a lunch. So we'll find a great restaurant and we'll munch down on some Vietnamese delicacies. I mean, goodness me, look at this one from the typhoon. Completely obliterated. I think I've actually had lunch in there. So first up in Hanoi will be food. And then being Saturday night that evening, we'll get straight out to Turtle Lake and do some walking around the lake. Probably show you some great snaps of kids playing in the streets. The roads are closed off and it's a tourist mecca. It's always a good thing to do in the evening, and then probably wrap it up with sitting in a cafe looking at some lights around the neighbourhood. Hanoi's a real busy place, and so you sort of got to plan what it is that you want to do. But I've got these 3 or 4 things on my mind. So look, one of the things that's worth doing in Hanoi is getting to the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum. So Ho Chi Minh's lying in state there. He's been embalmed for 50 years, and he's a very famous father of Vietnam, and so it's great to go and see how the Vietnamese revere that and tour it. Now, it does take some time to get in. Last time I went there, it was a sort of a 20-minute queue up, 6 or 7 queues wide, but I have heard that it takes 2 or 3 hours sometimes, so I won't be doing that. Don't you love these flowering trees? But number 1, I get off to the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum. Number 2 on the hit parade in Hanoi would be get to a thing called the Temple of Literature. Now, this is the first university of Vietnam, and established in 1010. So it sort of puts paid to most of the countries we live in. And the thing I liked when I went there last time was that, on the left-hand side was stones like gravestones, but on them were engraved all the graduates of 1010 for law. And on the right-hand side were engraved all these stones, which were like tombstones of all the graduates of medicine from 1010. So that's a pretty historic place, the Temple of Literature. And I will definitely be spending a couple of hours there. From there, I'll probably head, and that's, I think that's near the Old Quarter, I'm not exactly sure. But what I'll be doing from there is getting around to the big church that we see in Hanoi, the big dark coloured church, because I know you can sit out the front of there, watch the tours go by, and you can actually get inside that church on particular days. And the ladies there will be able to have a juice, and I know they sell beers on the street there, so I'll be having a beer outside the church. If any of the people that I'm with want to have a tour around the Old Quarter, there's those guys that ride the sort of rickshaws, the man on the front with the seats at the back, and they'll give you a ride. So that's a good place to pull up stumps for a break if you're in Hanoi, right before you get on to the next thing I want to talk about. Now, don't forget, I've only got 2 days in Hanoi, so I've got to go quite quickly. But I will get around the Old Quarter, because that's just great to walk around and look at how people live. And the other thing that interests me there is they have these streets called like Music Street, which has all musical shops, Book Street, which has all bookshops. And so that's just unique and interesting to see. The coffee shop, Temple of Literature, church, Book Street. There's also another large lake there called West Lake, and there's some nice cafes out there on West Lake. I may or may not get out there. That's a bit of it's not a hike in a taxi, it's probably only 4 kilometres, but it could take you 40 minutes. But all in all, in the evening, I will get back to the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum, because they have some pageantry around changing of the guard. And, they all march out and pull the flag down and pull the flag up. And that's a great spectacle for video. So you'll get a at least 1 or 2 varts from Hanoi in the next couple of months.
Well, isn't this amazing? This is
From Hanoi?
Vietnam Sea from the future. Don't forget, when I go to Hanoi, I'm going to go to Train Street, try and get the obligatory video of the train whizzing past. I've never done that. It's something that I really want to do, and I'm going to figure out how that actually happens. And on my second day in Hanoi, we should have a coffee on Train Street and see a train go by. Now, if it doesn't happen, don't hold me to it. But goodness, wouldn't that be a great thing to see and do?
I plan to get a taxi, and there'll only be 4 of us, back out to Hoi An, Ninh Binh. I'm going to do the cave canoe trip again out there and really try and showcase the place for what it is. Should take me about an hour and a bit to get out to Ninh Binh from Hanoi, and I guess a taxi for that sort of drive is going to cost me 1.5 million. I'm going to go out there and stay overnight. Actually, no, I changed the plan last night. I'm going to go out there, do the canoe trip, and then have some lunch, of course. Why does every tour revolve around lunch? And look at a few things in Ninh Binh, because there's some great stuff there. Get a taxi back to Ha Long. So that's basically Hanoi to Ha Long via Ninh Binh, which will be a good 15-hour day. But I've just got so much on in these 2 weeks that I haven't got the capacity to spend an extra day in Ninh Binh, unfortunately. Now, I have been to Ninh Binh before, and I can link to that video under this one, if I remember. But this time I'll try and showcase it in a really good light. Well, I don't know if I can go through here because these ladies are clearly filming something nice for their friends and family. So they're doing a bit of a practice run there. I guess I'll do a U-turn. So back from Ninh Binh to Ha Long will get us in late in the evening, and early to bed that particular night. The following day, at about lunchtime, I'm going to head down to Da Nang. So this trip to Da Nang is going to be quite a busy one, and the jury's still out on exactly what we're doing. But suffice to say, we need to have a night in Da Nang, accommodation yet to be sourced, and then get on out to Hoi An. So while we're in Da Nang, we're going to go and look at the Dragon Bridge, and we're going to go to the street markets there, and we're going to a restaurant called Mi Quan, which is a famous restaurant in Da Nang, to test out their Mi Quan, obviously. It'll be a rather flying trip into Da Nang because I think we get in late in the afternoon, flying on Vietjet from Hai Phong Cat B Airport to the airport in Da Nang. From Da Nang, we'll get a taxi out to Bana Hills. Now, I have been to Bana Hills before. I'll put a link to that below. It was a shocking day, and what I want to do is also showcase that one in its best light. Now, Bana Hills is that theme park that has the big hand that you stand on and take those happy snaps. So it's going to be exciting. Bana Hills is a full day, so get a taxi out to Bana Hills, do the Bana Hills Sunworld for the day. That costs quite a bit to get into. That's probably 1.5 million each. And I've been walking towards a bunch of ladies practicing something on the street here, so I'm just going to see what that is. And then after Barna Hills, we'll scoot across to Hoi An. So Hoi An's a magical place. It's where they have the boats with the lanterns on the river, and I'll be doing some of that. I'll also go back to the Vin World, and I've been to both Hoi An and the Vin World, and I'll see if I can link to that below. It was a fast, noisy trip. And, you know, I've gotten better since then, and so hopefully we'll be able to showcase Hoi An and the Vin World a lot better. The other thing that we want to look at out at Hoi An is just a couple of the restaurants out there. They're really flavoursome. They're designed for tourists. That's what we love. And so you'll see some fancy food out at Hoi An as well. So from Da Nang and Hoi An, the plan is to head on down to Ho Chi Minh City. And I'll be quite quick on this one because I'm getting a message on my camera here that we're low on the battery. But Ho Chi Minh's going to have a couple of days. I've got to actually attend a business meeting down there, but we'll be getting out to the Presidential Palace. I've been to that one before as well, so there's a link down below. We'll also be heading up to the 80th floor of Landmark 80, I think it's called, and getting some views from up there. Of course, we'll do some walking on Bouvienne Street, and gotta love the ladies there, and probably try and get to a couple of famous restaurants. The other thing I like to do in Ho Chi Minh City is just walk around the street and marvel at the traffic. We might try and get some strolling happening along the river, but again, it'll be a 2-day extravaganza and it'll be very, very quick. But I encourage you to stick with me. I'll try and bring 2 varts per location, so that'll be Hanoi, Ha Long, Ninh Bình, Da Nang, Ho Chi Minh City. So that'll be about 10 varts. Let's see if I get 3 out the door, but anyway, the plan would be to do 2 per location and really get you some insights into Vietnam and hopefully encourage you to come along and get the tour started. Thanks for subscribing. Really appreciate all the new subscribers and welcome to the channel. If you like the video and the sights and sounds of Vietnam, smash that like button. It really drives the YouTube algorithm crazy. And now look, if there's something that you'd really like me to see in and bring it to you at home in Ha Long, Mong Kai, Hanoi, Da Nang, Nha Trang, Ninh Bình, Ho Chi Minh City, put it in the comments down below, because that way you let me know what it is that you want to see. Stay frosty. You've been watching Vietnam Steve, and I'll see you in the next one.